And now, live from the conference room of Hendrick Motorsports, but they don't know it, the only man to be blacklisted from the blacklist, Dirty Dan Smith.
Hey, Burning Rubber Radio fans, USAC Unleashed supporters, Dirty Dan here. Hey, man, I had a chance to sit in on the Burning Rubber Radio show this week that also airs on the Performance Motorsports Network with my old buddy Andy, the Swami Delay. And Andy allowed me to bring a guest along with me, and I brought Spencer Bayston along, and I thought you guys might like to hear what that interview sounded like on the show on Burning Rubber Radio this week. So, without further ado, here it is.
Well, of course, we're cruising on. We got Dan Smith here, and Dan's like, hey, I got someone from the dirt world I'd like to talk to. And I said, bring him on Burning Rubber. Dirty Dan, who you got, buddy?
I've got one of the hottest shoes coming up in the midget ranks right now. He's running the Power Eye Series this year for Brian Qualson, but we got Spencer Bayston on the phone with us. How you doing tonight, Spence?
I'm doing pretty good.
Man, you sore today?
Just shaking up a little bit, not too bad.
That'll work, man. You had me worried. Let's back up for a minute. Let's let the NASCAR world out there know who you are and where you're from, Spencer.
Hey, I'm Spencer Bayston. I'm from Lebanon, Indiana, and I've been racing since I was 9. I'm 15 now, and started in core midgets, and I kind of moved my way up through micros and Kenny midgets, and now into getting this deal hooked up with Brian.
That's a pretty cool deal, a pretty sweet deal you got hooked up there, and we're going to talk a little more about that. But at the Fort Wayne Rumble this past winters, when I really took notice and learned about who you were, and can we talk about that for a few minutes?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, man. You had a car up there. It was your dirt midget, and you guys tried everything you could to free that thing up. But I'm telling you, you've seen the video and you've seen the pictures. I mean, you was in the seat of the car. That car was on the right rear the whole time up there on that concrete. Tell us a little bit about what that was like and what was going on.
It was weird, to at least say that. But yeah, it's a dirt car, so it flexes quite a bit. It's a concept chassis. So yeah, it's made for the dirt and obviously not the pavement because it's got a lot of flex in it. So when I'd go into the corner, it'd twist and do all sorts of weird stuff. And like you said, it'd bike up on 2 wheels and sit on that right rear. So it was a lot of fun to handle, but we surprisingly did actually better than we thought we would. We weren't sure what we were getting into when we got up there.
I believe you had a couple top 3 runs coming from the back both nights up there. I mean, it was very impressive what you done. But moving on, man, you've started out the 2014 season in the Power Eye Midget National Touring Series, and you're driving for none other than BC Brian Qualson. So tell us a little bit about that ride and what's going on there.
Yeah, we got hooked up with him, and they started this driver development program, and I was one of the candidates for them to look at, and luckily we kind of put the deal together, so we started running for them, and now we're running the Power Eye schedule this year, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Now, you know where I'm going to go with this, man. We're going to move on to this past Saturday night at Kokomo Speedway for the Kokomo SmackDown combined USAC and Power Eye event. And, buddy, heat number 2, you were toe-to-toe, duking it out. I mean, you were just body blow, uppercut with Qualson and Tanner Thorson and Chris Bell. I mean, the list was a mile long in that heat. It was a powerhouse of a heat, Spence, and you won it, man. Tell me about it.
It was exciting, that's for sure. Starting on the pole of the heat race, it was a little intimidating knowing who all was behind me, and it was nice to know Brian was going to probably, I thought when he passed me, he was going to race me clean at least. He wasn't going to put me in the wall or anything, and then, so I jumped out the early lead, and he threw a slider on me about half a lap later, and luckily I kind of timed it right and then tried to cross him back over, and so we were duking it out a little bit, and it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot getting to race with those extremely talented drivers.
Now, I didn't tell you this Saturday night, Spencer, but Brian pulled me off to the side after we talked to you for the heat race win for USAC Unleashed Radio, and he told me that he was trying, man. He was giving you some room, but he wasn't cutting you that many breaks. You actually earned that, brother.
Yeah, it was exciting getting to know. I mean, any other racer, as you would expect, he's not going to give an inch. He's going to do everything he can to win, and I would expect nothing but that. And it was nice. He raced me clean, like I said, and so it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot doing that because I've never really actually thrown sliders and crossed people over before. So it was a learning experience, but luckily we were able to pull out the win.
Man, it was nasty bad. I liked it, man. I was standing on top of the R&W trailer, and I was jumping up and down. I think I knocked a hole in the top of that trailer. They're going to be sending me a bill for it this week. But at any rate, man, we got to feature time, and kind of rough start on the feature. On the second lap, had some issues, man, and I was pretty worried about you. As a matter of fact, I think I called you at 12:30 that night on my way home. But tell us about what happened in the feature, brother.
Feature made another rookie mistake. Tim and Brian were telling me in the house that it's 40-lap feature. We filled it full of fuel, so it's going to be heavy. You can't be doing what you did in the heat race, so you got to go easy. And second lap, I went up on the high side to try to pick off a few drivers because they're all on the bottom, and got in there a little hot and threw it in, hit one of those big ruts up on the wall, and it biked up, and then I was able to set it back down. But when I set it back down, it kind of bounced up into the wall and knocked the rear end around, and just barely rolled over, but just enough to knock me out of the race. So it was completely my fault for jumping up there so early with that heavy of a fuel load, and they told me, and I shouldn't have done it, but I was just trying to get up there, and so I guess I learned from my mistakes, and hopefully it won't happen again.
All right, Spence. So we know you're driving for Brian in this driver development program. Won't you tell us a little more about this program that you guys got going on?
This program, it's a great program for a driver like me coming up and trying to make a career, start a career in this sport. And so like I said, I race Kenny midgets and micro sprints, so a lot of cars similar to these midgets, but never really got the chance to drive it. And then we got this deal hooked up with Brian, and they got the top of the line stuff. And Brian, of course, being the coach, he teaches you a lot, and he's kind of, the professional at this sport. So having a lot of knowledge in that, and having Big Al on the wrenches, and it really helps for me to learn. And so it's a great program to develop in, and we're running the full Power Ice schedule this year. So hopefully by the end of the year I'll be real comfortable in the car, and we'll get this program going.
Now, other than the driver development program that you're running with Brian and Tim Clausen, who's some of the sponsors that you have on the show? I know earlier in the season you were looking for some sponsorship. Have you found any?
Yeah, we're working on them right now. It's hard since we don't have really any results yet, major races or any of that. So it's hard to get those. But we definitely have some team sponsors. Of course, the Brian Clausen Incorporated, Corey Tucker Racing, CSI Suspension, Curb Records, Esslinger, Mobile One, Kaiser Wheels, Simpson, EK out in Arizona. The list goes on, and it's nice to have all those people on board with the team. And like I said, we're still trying to find more personal sponsorship, but those guys are what makes it happen, and from week in and week out. So it's a big thanks to them.
And now, Spencer, how do people get a hold of you, you yourself or Brian Clausen Racing and things like that, if somebody has a big wad of money they want to throw at a young guy like you?
You can reach me at my through my website. We just got up this year, SpencerBayston.com. You can go to the contact link, and you can message me, or you can email me at Spencer@SpencerBayston.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter and all those social media sites, so it should be pretty easy to get a hold of me if you want to talk anything, and we can start small or and see where it takes us.
That'll work. And there you have it, Mr. Spencer Bayston from Lebanon, Indiana. I'm telling you, folks out there in NASCAR land, you guys need to remember this kid's name. He's coming up. He's good. He's smooth, man. This kid's going to be the real deal. But I think Andy wants us to get out of here and come back with some more Burning Rubber Radio after this.
Burning Rubber Radio is a copyrighted production of the PerformanceMotorsportsNetwork.com, a division of the Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated. This program may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/burning-rubber-radio, or go to the PerformanceMotorsportsNetwork.com website and look for our landing page there. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either the Performance Motorsports Network or the Scorpion Radio Group, or those of our advertisers and marketing partners. Be listening next week as we munch through 4 or 5 large pieces, half the salad bar, and at least a case of chilled adult beverages.
Hey there!
Huh?
What about the guests and the motorsports coverage and all the other cool stuff they do?
Oh, yeah, well.
Now, come on now.
And they do one hell of a show.
Okay.
For Burning Rubber Radio, I'm Cougar Michael.
Burning rubber, baby!